Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you is going to shake you to your core. While everyone's been distracted by the Fed's measly 25 basis point rate cut, something absolutely massive is happening behind the scenes that nobody's talking about. The Federal Reserve is about to grant Ripple a master account, and when this happens, everything you think you know about crypto is going to change forever. I'm talking about the most significant development in cryptocurrency history, and most people are completely clueless about what's coming. This isn't just another crypto pump story. This is about Ripple positioning itself to become the backbone of the entire global financial system. And XRP holders are about to witness the greatest wealth transfer in modern history. But here's the thing that's got me fired up. The mainstream media, the traditional finance talking heads, they're all focused on this pathetic rate cut. Jerome Powell comes out, mumbles about employment and inflation, cuts rates by a quarter point, and everyone acts like it's breaking news. Meanwhile, the real story is being buried. The Federal Reserve Board announced they're holding a payments innovation conference on October 21st, and virtually nobody is connecting the dots to what this means for Ripple and XRP. Let me break this down for you, because this is where things get absolutely insane. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, went on CNBC and dropped a bombshell that flew right over everyone's heads. He said, and I quote, "We have pursued and requested application to apply for an OCC license as well as a Fed master account." Did you hear that? A Fed master account. Do you understand what this means? A Federal Reserve master account isn't something they just hand out to any crypto company. This is the holy grail of banking privileges. This gives Ripple the ability to hold deposits directly with the Federal Reserve, clear and settle payments without going through intermediary banks, and access the US payment system directly. We're talking about FedWire, Fed ACH, instant settlement rails. This is going straight to the source, bypassing all the middlemen that have been skimming profits for decades. But wait, it gets even better. Jonathan Gould, the guy who's now the comptroller of the currency, the person who approves these applications, he's not some traditional banking dinosaur. This guy worked for BlackRock. He understands crypto. He's been called the comeback for the OCC's crypto forward stance. And guess what? He was nominated by Trump, who just signed the Genius Act, which streamlines access to national bank charters and Fed accounts specifically for crypto firms. You think this is all a coincidence? Think again. The timing is absolutely perfect, and it's all orchestrated. The Federal Reserve is hosting this payments innovation meeting on October 21st to discuss the convergence of traditional and decentralized finance. That's the exact same time frame when all these XRP ETF applications have their deadlines. The same time Ripple's applications are being processed. This isn't random. This is strategic planning at the highest levels. Now let me tell you why this Fed master account is going to change everything. Right now, when you want to move money, especially internationally, it goes through this antiquated correspondent banking system. Your money bounces from bank to bank to bank, each one taking their cut, each one adding delays, each one adding risk. With a Fed master account, Ripple can bypass all of that. They can settle transactions in seconds instead of days for fractions of the cost. But here's where it gets really interesting. Ripple isn't just going after cross-border payments anymore. They're building the infrastructure for the entire financial system of the future. They've got RLUSD, their stablecoin that's going to be backed by reserves held directly with the Federal Reserve. They've got partnerships with over 20 central banks for CBDCs. They're tokenizing real-world assets, US treasuries, real estate. They're building the fastest major layer 1 blockchain. This isn't just a crypto company anymore. This is becoming the infrastructure layer for all of finance. And XRP? XRP is the oil that makes this entire machine run. While everyone's been focused on meme coins and the latest DeFi protocols, Ripple has been quietly building the plumbing for the new financial system. XRP is the neutral bridge asset that connects everything. When a bank in Japan wants to send money to a bank in Brazil, when a central bank wants to issue a CBDC, when someone wants to tokenize a $1 billion real estate portfolio, XRP is what makes it all possible. The smart money already knows this. That's why we're seeing these massive accumulation patterns in XRP, while retail investors are chasing shiny objects. The institutions, the banks, the governments, they're not buying XRP to flip it for quick profits. They're buying it because they need it to power the new financial infrastructure they're building. Let me paint you a picture of what's coming. Imagine waking up one morning and seeing news that Ripple's Fed Master account has been approved. Imagine the headlines when the first major bank starts using XRP for instant international settlements through Ripple's new Fed-connected infrastructure. Imagine when the first CBDC launches using XRP as its bridge currency. The price movements we'll see won't be measured in percentages. They'll be measured in multiples. But here's what really gets me excited about the timing. We're seeing all the technical indicators aligning perfectly. Bitcoin's dominance has been dropping since June, just like it did in the last bull run before altcoins exploded. The death cross on Bitcoin dominance that happened in August is setting up the exact same pattern we saw before the massive altcoin run in 2021. Total altcoin market cap is building pressure underneath resistance, just waiting for the catalyst to break through. And that catalyst, it's going to be this Fed master account approval. When that news hits, when institutions realize that Ripple now has direct access to the Federal Reserve's payment systems, the floodgates are going to open. We're not talking about a gradual price increase. We're talking about a liquidity explosion that's going to make the 2021 altcoin run look like a warm-up. The bond yields are telling us the same story. Every time we've seen the 10-year Treasury yield start to roll over, we've seen massive rallies in risk assets. And guess what's happening right now? The 10-year is hitting resistance at these descending trend lines, just like it did before the last major crypto rally. When yields start coming down, when liquidity starts flowing into risk assets, XRP is going to be at the front of the line. Now let me tell you something that's going to blow your mind. While everyone's been focused on the technical charts and the rate cuts, there's been a fundamental shift happening in the regulatory environment that nobody's talking about. The Trump administration isn't just crypto-friendly, they're crypto-strategic. They understand that whoever controls the infrastructure layer of the new financial system controls global finance for the next century. China has been working on their digital yuan for years. Europe has been developing the digital euro. But America is going to leapfrog all of them by partnering with Ripple. Instead of trying to build their own system from scratch, they're going to use the infrastructure that Ripple has already spent over a decade perfecting. And XRP is the fuel that makes it all work. This is why the SEC lawsuit was so important, and why Ripple fought it instead of just settling. They needed legal clarity. They needed regulatory approval. They needed to prove that XRP is not a security, that it's a utility token that can be used by banks and governments without regulatory complications. And they won. Not just a partial victory, not just a settlement. They won decisively. Now, with that legal clarity, with the Fed Master Account application in process, with the OCC banking license moving forward, with Trump in office supporting crypto innovation, all the pieces are falling into place. This isn't just bullish for XRP. This is the setup for the greatest financial opportunity of our lifetime. But here's what most people don't understand about how fast this can move. When institutional money decides to move into an asset, it doesn't trickle in slowly. It floods in all at once. We saw this with Bitcoin when the ETFs got approved. One day it's trading at $40,000. then suddenly it's at $120,000. The same thing is going to happen with XRP, except the moves are going to be even more dramatic because the supply dynamics are completely different. Think about it. Bitcoin has millions of holders, most of them retail traders who will sell on the way up. XRP has been beaten down for years. Most of the weak hands have already been shaken out. The people who are left holding XRP are the true believers who understand what's being built. And when institutional demand hits this limited available supply, the price discovery is going to be violent. I've been tracking the on-chain data, and what I'm seeing is absolutely incredible. Large holders have been accumulating XRP at levels we haven't seen since before the SEC lawsuit. Exchanges are running low on available XRP supply. Transaction volumes are starting to pick up. All the signs point to something big brewing beneath the surface. And here's the thing that gets me most excited. We're still early. Most people still think of XRP as just another altcoin. They don't understand that it's becoming the backbone of the new financial system. They don't understand that having a Fed master account puts Ripple in the same category as JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America. They don't understand that XRP is about to transition from speculative asset to essential infrastructure. The global money supply is over $100 trillion. Cross-border payments alone are a $150 trillion per year market. Central bank digital currencies are going to be worth trillions. Tokenized real-world assets are projected to be a multi-trillion-dollar market, and XRP is positioned to capture a percentage of all of these markets. We're not talking about billions in market cap, we're talking about trillions. But let me bring this back to what this means for you personally. If you're holding XRP right now, you're not just holding a cryptocurrency, you're holding a piece of the new financial infrastructure. Every bank that adopts Ripple's technology, every government that launches a CBDC using XRP, every real-world asset that gets tokenized on the XRP ledger, it all increases the utility and demand for the XRP you're holding. This is why I keep saying that the current price of XRP is absolutely ridiculous. We're talking about an asset that's going to be essential to the operation of the global financial system. And it's trading at prices that value it less than some meme coins. This disconnect between fundamental value and market price can't last forever. And when it corrects, it's going to correct violently. The Federal Reserve meeting on October 21st isn't just another bureaucratic gathering, it's the coming out party for the new financial system. When they announce that they are moving forward with payments innovation, when they talk about the convergence of traditional and decentralized finance, when they discuss stablecoin use cases and tokenization, they're going to be talking about Ripple's technology. Because Ripple is the only company that has all these pieces working together at scale. And here's something that most people don't realize. The Fed doesn't just grant master accounts to any company that applies. These accounts are reserved for the most systemically important financial institutions. By granting Ripple a master account, the Federal Reserve is essentially saying that Ripple is now part of the core banking infrastructure of the United States. This isn't just bullish for Ripple stock or XRP price. This is the Federal Reserve giving their stamp of approval to the future of finance. Now, I want to talk about the macroeconomic environment because this is crucial to understanding why now is the perfect time for this to happen. The Federal Reserve has been caught in an impossible situation. They raised interest rates to fight inflation, but now they're cutting rates because they're worried about employment. This flip-flopping shows that the traditional monetary policy tools aren't working anymore. Meanwhile, we've got over $37 trillion in national debt. We've got inflation that's starting to tick back up even as they're cutting rates. We've got an unemployment rate that's climbing. The traditional financial system is showing cracks, and the Fed knows it. They need new tools, new infrastructure, new ways to manage the economy. And blockchain technology, specifically Ripple's technology, gives them those tools. With RLUSD backed by reserves held directly at the Fed, with XRP providing instant settlement capabilities, with the ability to program smart contracts into payments, the Federal Reserve gains unprecedented control and visibility over money flows. They can implement monetary policy in real time instead of waiting months to see the effects. They can track every transaction, prevent money laundering, ensure tax compliance, all while making the system faster and cheaper for everyone. This isn't just about crypto adoption. This is about the Federal Reserve upgrading their entire operating system. And XRP is going to be at the center of it all. Let me tell you about the timeline I'm expecting. The Fed Master account approval could come any day now. When it does, we're going to see an immediate reaction in XRP price, probably 50% to 100% in the first day alone. But that's just the beginning. Over the following weeks and months, as banks start integrating with Ripple's Fed-connected infrastructure, as CBDCs start launching, as tokenized assets start trading, we're going to see sustained buying pressure that drives XRP to levels that most people can't even imagine right now. I'm talking about XRP potentially reaching triple digits within the next 12 to 18 months. Not because of speculation, not because of hype, but because of actual utility demand from the largest financial institutions in the world. When JP Morgan Chase needs XRP to settle $1 billion international transfer in seconds instead of days, they're not going to care if they have to pay $100 or $200 per XRP. The cost savings and efficiency gains make it a no-brainer. And here's the beautiful thing about XRP's tokenomics. Unlike Bitcoin, which has new supply being created every day through mining, XRP has a fixed supply that actually decreases over time as tokens are burned through transaction fees, as demand increases from institutional usage, as supply decreases through natural burn mechanisms, the price dynamics become incredibly bullish. But I want to be clear about something. This isn't going to be a smooth ride up. We're going to see volatility. We're going to see pullbacks. We're going to see moments where it looks like the whole thesis is falling apart. That's when the weak hands sell and the strong hands accumulate. That's when fortunes are made. The key is understanding that short-term price movements don't matter when you're invested in infrastructure that's being adopted at the governmental level. When the Federal Reserve gives you their master account, when the OCC gives you a banking license, when 20+ central banks are using your technology for their CBDCs, these aren't partnerships that get cancelled because of market volatility. These are strategic relationships that last decades. I've been in crypto for years, and I've never seen a setup like this. Usually, crypto investments are based on speculation about future adoption. With XRP and Ripple, the adoption is happening right now. The partnerships are being announced, the regulatory approvals are coming through, the infrastructure is being built. This isn't a bet on what might happen. This is positioning yourself for what is happening. And here's what really excites me about the next few months. We're not just waiting for one catalyst. We've got multiple catalysts, all converging at the same time. The Fed Master Account approval, the OCC banking license, the XRP ETF approvals, the Federal Reserve Payments Innovation Conference, the continued rollout of CBDCs, the expansion of tokenized asset markets. Each one of these alone would be huge for XRP. All of them happening together is going to create a perfect storm of bullish momentum. The smart money is already positioning. I'm seeing whale wallets accumulating XRP at levels we haven't seen in years. I'm seeing institutional investors quietly building positions. I'm seeing traditional finance companies that have never touched crypto suddenly becoming interested in blockchain technology. The writing is on the wall for anyone who knows how to read it. But here's what frustrates me. While all this infrastructure building is happening, while Ripple is positioning itself to become the backbone of the new financial system, most crypto investors are still chasing meme coins and DeFi tokens. They're looking for the next 100x overnight instead of recognizing the 1000x that's building right in front of them. XRP isn't going to give you 100x in a week, but it might give you 100x over the next 2 years as it transitions from speculative asset to essential infrastructure. And unlike most crypto investments, this one has the backing of the Federal Reserve, the support of the Trump administration, and the adoption of major financial institutions around the world. The risk-reward profile here is unlike anything I've ever seen. The downside is limited because XRP already has real utility and growing adoption. The upside is essentially unlimited because we're talking about capturing a percentage of the entire global financial system. This is the kind of asymmetric bet that creates generational wealth. So let me ask you this. Where do you want to be when the Federal Reserve announces Ripple's master account approval? Do you want to be scrambling to buy XRP at 10x the current price after everyone else already knows what you know now? Or do you want to be positioned ahead of the crowd, ready to benefit from what could be the greatest wealth creation event in crypto history? The choice is yours, but the window is closing. Every day that passes, every announcement that comes out, every partnership that gets revealed, more people are starting to understand what's really happening here. The secret isn't going to stay secret much longer. This isn't just about making money, although the money is going to be incredible. This is about being part of the transition to a new financial system. This is about owning a piece of the infrastructure that's going to power the global economy for the next century. This is about positioning yourself not just for the next bull run, but for the next era of human civilization. The Federal Reserve Master Account for Ripple isn't just a regulatory approval, it's the starting gun for the race to build the financial system of the future. And XRP holders are going to be the ones who benefit most from this transition. The distraction is over. The real story is just beginning. And if you understand what I've just told you, you're about to witness the greatest transfer of wealth in human history.